Good day, cricket fans, and welcome back to the IslandStats.com Cricket Show. It's Sunday, which means it's time to dive deep into all the action from the local pitches right here in Bermuda. We'll be dissecting the weekend's clashes, celebrating standout performances, and looking ahead to what's next in the 2025 season. Whether you were at the grounds or following online, we've got all the angles covered, so grab your coffee, settle in, and let's talk cricket. Well, good evening and welcome to this edition of the Island Stats Cricket Show. I'm your host, Earl Baston. Shortly, I'm hoping to be joined by co-host Terry Frey, and we also have another guest co-host this evening. Hopefully joining us shortly will be Doc Manders. Let's run down the results from this past weekend, beginning with yesterday's matches across the island. Up at the Somerset Cricket Club in Premier Division action, Somerset Cricket Club secured a commanding 20-run victory over Bailey's Bay at the Cricket Club. Somerset scored 183 for 3 and then restricted Bailey's Bay or bowled Bailey's Bay out for 163. St. George's Cricket Club enjoyed an 8-wicket victory over Cleveland County at the Wellington Oval. They bowled Cleveland out for restricted Cleveland to 83 for 9. And then St. George's scored 84 for 2 in reply. And at Lords and St. David's edged out Devonshire Recreation Club by 5 wickets. Devonshire Recreation Club scored 116 for 7 in their 20 overs. St. David's replied with 120 for 4. In First Division, it was the Southampton Rangers cruised to a 70-run victory over PHC at Lords. Rangers scored 159 for 8 and then bowled restricted PHC to 89 for 9 in reply. The derby between Willacotts and Warwick Workmen's at the Somerset Cricket Club unfortunately was abandoned due to unsportsmanlike behavior amongst the players. We'll get into that as much as we know as we get Terry onto the show as well as Doc. Somerset Bridge secured a narrow 4-run victory over Flats Victoria at the Wellington Oval. Somerset Bridge posted 103 for 7 and then restricted Flats to 99 for 7 in their 20 overs. And then today we're joined by Terry. Welcome, Terry.
Yes, good evening. Sorry about that, Earl.
Not a problem. Just running down the results from yesterday and today. I finished yesterday on to today's matches. Some surprises here as far as in the Premier Division. Bailey's Bay won by 6 wickets over Devonshire Recreation Club. Devonshire Recreation Club were all out for 89. Bailey's Bay scored 90 for 4. But Terry, 90 for 4 in 18.3 overs. Yes, they got across the line. It took them 18 plus overs to get to 80, to get to that 89 runs. St. David's Cricket Club won by 10 wickets over Cleveland County. Cleveland County, who scored 80 odd the day before, were all out for 33.
Wow.
St. David scored 37 without loss. Somerset Cricket Club pulled off a 15-run victory against St. George's Cricket Club at PHC. Somerset scored 147 for 4 in their 20. St. George's 132 for 9 in their 20. Southampton Rangers won by 99 runs against Western Stars. Big surprise there at the gap. Southampton Rangers scored 162 for 2. Western Stars scored 63 all out. PHC won by 61 runs over Somerset Bridge. PHC scored 182 for 1 and then bowled Somerset Bridge out for 121. The match between Flats and Warwick was not played as the roller was stuck on the wicket for some time. Apparently the wicket wasn't covered overnight as well, which caused another issue. It took them a while to get the roller off the field itself, let alone off the wicket. So that match was not played, unfortunately. But going back to yesterday, obviously, things we never really want to talk about when it comes to sport, but matches having to be abandoned because of unsportsmanlike behavior, players confronting each other on the field of play. We know a lot of times in sports, people have something to say, and most of the time, what we need to figure out is that you can't take it, don't say it. Don't be part of it.
Yep.
You know.
Yeah, I don't know the circumstances to that. What teams were involved in that?
Willicotts and Warwick.
Mm.
Warwick, where Willicotts had been at first and had a decent score posted. Warwick were chasing down the score. Let me just get the. Yeah. So Willicotts scored 170 for 2 in their 20. Warwick were 53 for 2 after 3.3 overs.
Wow.
Yeah. So the chase was on, pressure was on both teams, and words were exchanged when someone got out, and then of course another issue took place, with the return where the batsman drives the ball back down the wicket, the bowler gets a hand to it, the non-striking batsman was out of the crease. There was a debate whether or not the bowler actually touched the ball. The umpires conferred, and then the batsman was given out. There was some dispute regarding or around that, and then it was players confronting players kind of thing, to where it got physical, and the umpires decided that we can no longer operate a cricket match if this is going to be the outcome of what it's going to be. So now it's up to the cricket board to make a decision on how they handle it once the reports are in. So
yeah, I would definitely reserve my comments once that report has been submitted. We get a little bit more light on that.
Yeah.
But at the end of the day, discipline must prevail.
Yes.
And it shouldn't even get to that point.
Right.
I will say that once an umpire makes a decision, it is the decision.
Yeah, it's final.
And that's right, and final. And every player should understand that. And I think that is something that all the teams need to address, because as young as the season is, there's been quite a few incidents.
Yes.
Where players are opposing the umpires and putting the umpires under unnecessary duress in some of the decision making. It doesn't matter how much we play. We're always going to have, what we call, bad decisions by the umpire.
Right.
At the end of the day, it's their decision, and we must abide by that.
Right.
They're human just like they are.
Yeah.
They go in and bat. They play a bad shot, they get out. Right.
Yep.
So our players got to understand that they are human just like them.
Right. I was some years ago we were talking, and one of the suggestions was we have just like at international matches, you have a match referee, and the issue is dealt with right there and then. We seem to have a system set up where a player does something, decides or gets together with a group of people, comes up with a defense, takes somebody that could talk, and the people that weren't even there to witness what took place then allow the player to get off with something that they should have been banned for on the afternoon by being summoned to that changing room once the match was over, because the person that's adjudicating it was there, saw everything, heard everything, now's gotten the written a word from the umpire, got a word from the captains, and then you deal with the situation.
Yeah. I think that's what the Bermuda Cricket Board need to aspire to. Is to get to that level, because it's always going to be controversy,
right?
Especially when emotions start getting involved.
Yeah.
And more so in high stake games.
Right. Yeah. Something has to be done. If not, you're gonna keep seeing, people, especially we know there are some guys that play sports in Bermuda, no matter what sport it is, and it's almost like a light switch goes off and their attitude towards everything changes.
Yeah.
And in order to kind of control that and stop that, is addressing it right when it happens, as opposed to, let's deal with it on Thursday in a boardroom with 5 people that don't know, just looking at a piece of paper.
Yeah, I agree. I agree. Yeah, 100%.
Yeah. Now today down at Lords and St. David's, they had the 2 teams arrived. Flats and Warwick arrived. Obviously, a bit of concern because number 1, there's a ruler on top of the wicket that's stuck, and number 2, they never covered the wicket the night before. So you got an issue right there.
Right.
It just made for a tough day. They were using a truck to pull the ruler off the wicket. Obviously, that's going to incur some damage to parts of the wicket or even the outfield, because a ruler and a truck pulling it is not just a simple thing. It just doesn't roll like that.
Right. So the truck was actually pulling the ruler to prepare the wicket, or there was
the truck was pulling the ruler off the wicket.
Off the wicket.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. So that took a while, I guess, with the fact that the wicket had some moisture on it, and obviously some damage from the tractor being dragged off. It's going to take some while to prepare, to finish it off, to be prepared. So that game was not played.
Yeah. So do you know about not that roller broke down this morning or last night?
I don't know, but more than likely they would have started to prepare the wicket for the day. So I guess, it would have gotten on the wicket and would have, I guess, broken down there.
Yeah, because we had heavy overnight rain.
Right.
In the East End for sure. I know that. Yeah. So
on top of that,
uncovered overnight, then that wicket would have been wet this morning.
Right.
And then also the outfield. So, once the truck or whatever vehicle they were using to pull that,
would have been making holes in the ground as well.
It would dig in, and if it's spinning out, then it's going to damage the surface for sure.
Right. So that match, unfortunately, was called off. And again, you have to wait till the board decides, what the end result will be for that. I mean, Flats, if they're paying for that to be the home field, then the onus obviously is on St. David's to ensure that the wicket's prepared. And if Flats have a groundsman or whatever, then however that's going to be decided.
Right.
They could argue that the ruler broke down, but then the other argument is the wicket was wet,
right,
because it wasn't covered.
Yeah.
So there's always that 2 sides to each story. So
exactly.
Again, had a match referee been there, that decision would have been made right there at the field.
Yeah, right there and there, for sure.
He'd have gotten all the information
for clarity,
and made his decision, and we would know what the end result would be right now.
Yeah, exactly. But we're just our second weekend into the league season, right?
Yeah.
And the board's got their hands full already.
Already.
Decisions that have to be made.
Yep. But the one thing I would encourage is that decisions be made as quickly as possible and then notified, so everyone understands what's going on. A lot of times decisions are made and you never hear until something else happens that you hear, and this took place, by the way.
Yeah, I mean, those type of decisions have to be done timely. It shouldn't be delayed. At least by before next weekend, there should be some clarity on what's the plan going forward with those incidents.
Yes, definitely. Just to let everyone know, we will be joined by Mr. Phil Lewis, the director of sports at King's College Cricket Festival. He'll be joining us at the bottom of the hour. Also, I'm anticipating Doc Mandus joining us this evening as well, Terry. So a chance to reminisce about some cricket. What we're going to do is we're going to take our first commercial break. When we come back, we'll look at some of those matches from yesterday and obviously some of the big matches from today as well. We'll be right back.
putting down the weapons.
You seen this?
We're raising a glass to Bermuda's roots with Barrett's Ginger Beer. Originally crafted right here at home since 1874, it's the island's favorite fizz for a reason. Whether you're at the beach or watching the race this Bermuda Day, Barrett's brings bold Bermudian flavor to every moment. Find it now at Lindo's. Barrett's Ginger Beer from John Barrett & Sons, celebrating Bermuda one sip at a time. Lindo's, why go anyplace else?
Beneath the cloud blue sky, where the ocean meets the land, and the long tails fly in Bermuda. Our hearts belong to this beautiful island. As an island, we are strong, proudly Bermudian. In every single way, from the sunrise to the sunset, and every single day for over 135 years. It's been clear, Lady Silence, proudly Bermudian. Bringing us near. Cause we are proudly Bermudian. Digicel is proudly Bermudian. Digicel is proudly Bermudian.
And welcome back. Well, Terry, yesterday, Somerset hosted Bailey's Bay up at Somerset Cricket Club. Somerset scored 183 for 3, with Jamal Proctor scoring 92. He struck 16 boundaries in his 56-ball inning. Coolidge Durham scored 52 for Bailey's Bay in their reply of 163. Dominic Sabir took 3 for 29 for Somerset. Bailey's Bay struggling even in today's match against a team like Devonshire Recreation Club. You restrict them, you bowl them out for 89, and you're struggling to get 90 in 18.3 overs. So there's got to be something going on, confidence-wise, at Bailey's Bay. What's your thoughts?
Yeah, most definitely, and again, it just goes down to, the players being committed, some consistency that's going to be required. I'm sure that Bailey's Bay will regroup and reset and get the season off, restart it and get it off to a better performance level than what they have done in the last few games.
Right.
They got a victory today. That could be a confidence boost, But yeah, I think the burden is struggling a little bit, and right. I would take it that today the betting did the same. I didn't go to the game, but I was made to understand that the wicket was very much up and down.
Uh-huh.
So the batsmen will most likely struggle on that. But they got some work to do, a lot of work to do,
right.
And hopefully they'll do it very soon.
Yeah. Interesting that note. Southampton Rangers had batted on the wicket earlier in the day and scored, 150, or were they 162. Now Rangers have been scoring 180 runs. But then they bowled Western Stars out for 63.
Yeah.
So as the day went on, the wicket would have played a little low or indecisive.
Yeah.
Because you turn around and you got two more teams that can't get 100 runs.
Yeah.
And in all total, they lost Bailey's Bay lost 9. They lost 19. So 29 wickets fell. Mm-hmm. In less than 100 and in less than 200 runs.
Yeah. So that definitely, reflects the wicket.
Yeah.
At the end of the day, you know, when you got 2 games on that one, you know, on that one day, on that one particular wicket,
right.
That second game is definitely going to have wear and tear because, you know, it's obviously it's still early in the season.
Right.
A lot of preparation, a lot of maturing of the wicket to do. So those wickets, especially second games, are going to be challenging.
Right. Yeah. I want to congratulate Somerset because after beating Bailey's Bay yesterday, they went to PHC and beat St. George's, a team that's been started off the season rather well. Again, you had young Proctor leading the way, scoring. Today he got 76, 10 fours and a 6, and he also bowled well, taking 2 wickets. You know, Somerset would score the 147 for 4, and then St. George restricted St. George's to 132 for 9. You know, Somerset, they've started off really, really well. 2 weekends in a row, you know, just looking like things are going their direction.
Yeah.
Coach Gennaro Tucker, new captain. You know, I think a lot of times in the league, Somerset was always getting off to a slow start, but looks like things have turned around this year for the club.
Yeah. I watched a little bit of that. I got the link when I finished work yesterday, so I watched Bayless Bay's innings, and they definitely bowled to a plan. You know, right. I watched. You know, once they got rid of Cooley and Tarrant. You could see that plan actually coming into play. You know, really go very, very straight, just short of a good length, and bow to the fields. You know, one thing I did notice was that they took the time in setting the fields, especially when it came to Tarrant and Cooley.
Right.
So there was, you know, be interested to see how many dot balls was in that innings.
Right.
But was very, very well captained. And of course, you know, Gennaro's on the field.
Right.
All that experience that Gennaro has, that, you know, they will be compatible. They will definitely be compatible.
Yeah.
And, you know, and they don't have no big name players other than, you know, Gennaro's semi-retired. And Sabir is doing well.
Yeah.
But, you know, when you look at young Proctor, you know,
he was begging last season to be the opener, and he's proven himself, you know, to be that versatile player as an opening bat and an opening bowler. So, you know, I think the fact that he's now spending time in the national program is also helping him not only in his cricket but his character as well.
Yeah. So, you know, when you first looked at young Proctor, you will categorically put him in a bowling all-rounder.
Yes.
But he's quickly becoming a genuine all-rounder.
Yeah. Definitely. But he loves to hit the ball, that's for sure.
Yes. I saw that in Cup match. I have you know, quite a few conversations with him, you know what I mean? Because I admire him, and he's a youngster. So we do talk a bit about cricket, you know.
Right.
It's a bright future for him.
Definitely. Another team that had a good weekend, obviously, St. David's. St. David's today bowled out their Eastern County rivals, Cleveland County, for 33, and then scored 37 without loss. Yesterday, they played Devonshire Rack, restricted them to 116 for 7, and then scored 120 for 5. Marcus Scotland scored 42. Kevin Fodler took 2 for 16 in the St. David. And the thing was, what really hurt Cleveland County today was 4 runouts. That would have really set them back. Not being able to get the partnerships and rotating the strike. So
run-ups, you know, run-outs are detrimental when you're in the run chase, you know. And believe it or not, Bayless Bay suffered the same type of situation yesterday. He had 3 run-outs, you know.
Yeah. It's amazing when pressure strikes what it all looks like after a while, because it looks like nobody's ever had a conversation with each other, and it just doesn't look good.
Yeah.
But something for coaches to work on, obviously.
Most definitely.
And good thing it's early in the season, so as the season progresses, you should see some better results.
Yes.
What we're going to take our second commercial break. When we come back, we're going to be joined by Phil Lewis. As I said earlier, he's the director of the sports at King's College for the Cricket Festival, and we're going to get an update regarding the Cricket Festival and then some as far as people joining. I know Freestar Cricket's actually taking part in that, so we'll get more from you as well, Terry. But we'll be right back, and we'll be joined by Mr. Phil Lewis. We'll be right back.
Over the pink sands, beneath the clear blue sky, where the ocean meets the land, and the long-tails fly in Bermuda. Our hearts belong to this beautiful island. As an island, we are strong, proudly Bermudian. In every single way, from the sunrise to the sunset, and every single day for over 135 years. It's been clear, Digicel is proudly Bermudian, bringing us near. Cause we are proudly Bermudian. Digicel is proudly Bermudian. Digicel is proudly Bermudian.
Sun, sand, and celebrating Bermuda Day. But who has time to run errands? Let Drop It bring your beach day essentials right to your doorstep. Order everything you need for a perfect Bermuda Day from Lindo's. Snacks, drinks, sunscreen, and everything in between. It's the easiest way to enjoy the day without the hassle of the store. Order now and let Drop It take care of the rest. Drop It brings Lindo's to your door. Why go anyplace else?
Putting down the weapons.
You seen this?
And welcome back. Well, as I said, we were going to be joined by Phil Lewis, who is the director of sports of the prestigious King's College Cricket Festival. Good evening, sir. How are you?
Good evening, Earl. Yes, all good, thank you. Can you hear me okay?
I hear you quite well. Also, we'll soon be joined by Doc Manders as well. But Phil, tell us a bit about the festival. We do have a student at King's College, a Bermudian cricket player at King's College. But tell us a bit about the festival and what the festival entails.
Yeah, sure. I mean, we basically run festivals for 5 weeks of our summer holidays. We have an ex-Somerset player called Keith Parsons who's in charge of it as our festival manager, and it's basically back-to-back cricket for different age groups from all over the world. We have a lot of our county teams come. We sometimes put one of our own school teams in there. It's just an amazing celebration of cricket. The kids absolutely love it. And even after a full day's play, where they normally play 40, 45 overs, they then are also out on the fields afterwards, after dinner, playing, hitting balls, screaming, how's that? Just showing all the wonderful things that cricket can give to our youngsters, really.
Sure. Terry, you want to jump in? Because I know you've had conversations with Phil.
Oh, yeah. Well, first of all,
Terry.
Good evening, Phil. How you doing?
Yeah, I'm good. Good to see you again.
Nice to see you as well. Yeah, so I met Phil for the first time Friday evening. He came by to watch our training session, and then we got into discussions about training tactics and skill sets and what we are trying to achieve there at Freystar Cricket. And he also knew that we were in the process of raising funds to go to this cricket festival. And we had a very good conversation about what is expected at this festival. And by doing that, it gave us an indication of what we have to do, in terms of preparation and preparing our youngsters for that challenge.
Sure. Now, Phil, obviously you said it's various age groups. How do teams or people get involved in the festival itself?
So they basically already now for this summer, we pretty much signed everyone up. So they apply to our festival manager, stating what age group they want to bring. Some schools, some counties, and some academies and institutes bring multiple teams. It just depends on the organisation, but yeah, we have a variety of teams who basically log in and confirm contact with Keith, and he then chooses where they should sit in terms of the standard that they play, to make sure that they get a really competitive week. They learn a lot, and that they ultimately are in a group where they're going to love and enjoy their cricket.
Yeah, and obviously you have those different levels, and he adjudges that. What after the festival's over and done with, what are the benefits of being involved in the festival for any club, any country, any player?
That's a really good question. I mean, ultimately, I'm a firm believer in, you only can improve in cricket if you're playing people who are as strong, if not stronger than you. And that's what it's all about, is it's exposure to a really high level of cricket on brilliant wickets. Our ground staff are amazing, and they, considering they put back-to-back games on throughout the week and throughout the summer, they get to play on amazing cricket wickets. Especially as the summer goes on, the wickets get a little bit drier, so they start to turn a bit more. So really good concepts of tactically having an awareness of how to play against spin. And yeah, it's just a great learning curve for them. There's no better learning curve than playing every single day. We had a Kings team in the festivals last year that I ran, and they were quite a few of them were a year young, playing against some really good county sides, and we actually lost every game until the last day of the festivals, where we managed to get a win. But every day they just kept improving, and it didn't matter whether we were winning or losing. It was just the fact that every day we had something to reflect on. We had some really key points, some really good learning curves, and it's just great to see how the teams developed. And we had both girls and boys teams in there, and just to see, how just in a week they can go from one level to another. It's just amazing, because there's nothing else like it, where they get to play that much cricket in a short space of time, and they are knackered by the end of it. A bit like I look after having just gone for a run, which is an interesting thing in Bermuda. But yeah, I love going down to watch and being part of it, and it's an amazing thing that kids get to be part of, really.
Sure. Now, growing up, and Terry would attest to this, we used to have cricket clinics that used to run for 8 weeks of the 10-week holiday, summer holiday in Bermuda. We're probably down to not even having any of that. But why 5 weeks? Why only 5 weeks of the festival?
It's a really good question. We have done 6 weeks, actually, but it all depends on when our holidays sit. So last year we had a slightly longer summer holiday, so it meant that we could fit 6 weeks in. And it's all dependent. So for instance, we always try and finish the festivals so that we've got about a week after the festivals to tidy everything up, and then of course get everything prepared so that our own pupils are back into a really tidy, really clean, ready for the new school year. So we'd love to run it for, I shouldn't say this in public in terms of the amount of holidays we get as teachers, but we get about 8 weeks in the summer sometimes. And in terms of that, we'd love to fill it all with cricket, but I think 5 or 6 weeks just gives us a chance to firstly set it up properly once our own school year is finished, and then once the festivals are finished, it also gives us a little bit of time afterwards to get ready. So that's generally why we stick to 5 or 6 weeks.
Sure. Now, what would a club, any player or any parent, what would they need to do if they want to be involved next year in the festival?
Well, I think ultimately Terry's running a great sort of cricket institute there, which is exactly what I'm talking about. It's giving youngsters an opportunity to play at a really high level and to develop their skills. So I guess the first step is to join an aspirational club or organisation or association where there's that sort of demand to test and push out of their comfort zones. And so, finding somewhere like that to start with is really key. We have some provincial or academies from America that come over. So we have some from California and numerous other states. So I guess it's just finding the right organisation who are willing to work and graft. And, meeting Terry yesterday and Deborah, Gus Logie, who's the coach, there's such a vibe behind what those youngsters get in terms of, not just the coaching they receive, but also the messages about, that cricket isn't easy and that you've got to work hard at it and you've got to be tough and resilient. And, to be part of something like that's just wonderful. And, I don't think, sometimes the kids appreciate how lucky they are to have these organizations set up to support them, really. So, that's absolutely the step is get involved with a really aspirational association or institute that's really ambitious.
Yeah. Terry, how exciting is it that you have someone like Phil come by your training and see what you guys are putting in and giving the youngsters an opportunity to develop. So how encouraging is that?
Yeah, it's a big one for us. When Debbie told me that Phil was coming, nothing changed in terms of preparation. We always prepare very, very well with all our training sessions. We have our training plans, and we roll it out. Our coaches are professionals. We set it up and we can just roll that training session out. And then, of course, when Phil turned up, he was right in the mix of seeing us in action. But it is encouraging because somebody like Phil, it's great to have a relationship with him because it can help us out in other areas as well.
Right.
Because our long-term goal is to develop our young people, not just on the cricket field, but in life in general. That's how we're doing this holistically. So with all his experience and us now having dialogue, I'm sure he'll learn something from us as well. But I think it will be a great partnership there, for sure.
I'm sorry to jump in, Terry, but you hit the nail on the head. And I think the wonderful thing about cricket is that it teaches our kids, like you said, some major skills that they're going to be able to carry forward in life in terms of patience and resilience and the up and downs of cricket. That ultimately things aren't always going to go their way. They're going to get a duck one game and maybe 100 another. And what a great life lesson that is. It's one of the few sports where you just see so many different lessons that these youngsters can learn that are just going to make them better people when they're older. And I saw that in abundance yesterday. It was a real pleasure.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
it is.
Well, Phil, thank you very much for joining us this evening to discuss the festival and just the opportunity that you provide people with and help to develop young people in cricket. And the fact that you're doing something that you quite enjoy, as well as Terry and his team are doing something that they quite enjoy as well. I know a lot of times as coaches, you sort of, as you're looking at a player, you remember your time back when you were that young and going through the motions as well. So I want to encourage you, Phil, and your program to continue. Keep coming back to this island and pulling some of our talented youngsters and showing them there's more than just the shores here, that they can open their eyes up and strive to be not only a better cricketer but a better person in general as well. So thank you very much.
Yeah. No, thanks so much for having me on, Guns. It's been great to chat about it, and we'll hopefully catch up soon.
Yes.
Sure.
Thanks, Phil.
We're going to take another commercial break. When we come back, we'll wrap up this edition of the Island Stats Cricket Show with some more matches. We'll look at some more matches from this weekend. We'll be right back.
Over the pink sands, beneath the clear blue sky, where the ocean meets the land, and the long tails fly in Bermuda. Our hearts belong to this beautiful island. As an island, we are strong, proudly Bermudian. In every single way, from the sunrise to the sunset, and every single day, over 135 years. It's been clear, Pages silence, proudly Bermudian, bringing us near. Cause we are proudly Bermudian. Digicel is proudly Bermudian. Digicel is proudly Bermudian.
Okay, we've got the chairs packed? Check. Sunscreen? Check. Flags and coolers? Check. Made sure to stop at Lindo's? Check. Whether you're running the race or just racing to get the best view, Lindo's has everything you need for Bermuda Day. Lindo's. Why go anyplace else?
Putting down the weapons.
You seen this?
And welcome back. Well, Terry, go back to yesterday. In First Division, we had again Southampton Rangers picking up a 70-run victory over PHC. You had Dion Stovall scoring 51. In reply, PHC would score 89. Mackay Jacobs taking 5 wickets for 14 runs for Rangers. Just a brilliant display. They just couldn't get him away, and he just kept taking wickets. Somerset Bridge, the funny one, Somerset Bridge and Flats Victoria. Somerset Bridge 103 for 7. You say you could probably defend that, but realistically, you're thinking, it's gonna be tough to defend. And they defended it because they restricted Flats to 99 for 7.
Wow.
Two teams, 202 runs, 14 wickets fell. Boy, you can't get no closer than that, can it?
Yeah, that's very close. Yeah. I mean, anything can happen in these T20 games,
Right.
Anybody could win on the day. That's what makes it so interesting,
Yeah. And then you turn around today, obviously, with PHC, they had the return of Chris Douglas, who hadn't played this season for them. He ended up playing today. He scored 64 before retiring injured. Also, Charles Trott scored 64. Charles's 64 came off of 24 bowls, I believe. Let me just make sure that. Yeah, 27 bowls, 4 fours and 7 sixes. Chris scored 64 off of 59. He opened the inning. The only out batsman was Devin Dill on 27. So Chris and Devin put on 94 runs in 13.2 overs before Chris would have retired, and then Devin would have gotten out. And then Charles came in and done his number, hitting that 64. He would then turn around and get 3 wickets for 16. Sorry, 3 for 16. Off of 4 overs, helping them to build Somerset Bridge out for 121. So a good weekend or a good day for Charles. In PHC's outfit kind of thing. Again, we look at a team like St. David's. They didn't have. I mean, it was a. When you look at a team like St. David's, they put in a team effort. Yesterday and today with the runouts, that's teamwork. Nobody real. I mean, Bowlers restricted the batsmen to struggle for runs, kind of thing. Derek gave up 4 runs in 4 overs and took 1 wicket. So if you're not taking wickets, you're not giving up runs. So that's been their kind of strong point so far this season.
Yeah, I mean, when you look at those type of figures, that's pressure.
Yes.
Because if you're not scoring down one end, you gotta try to score down the other end.
Yep.
And more cases than not, the one that's on Berlin at the other end is the one that's picking up the wickets.
Yep. Yeah.
So that's how that works. It's Berlin and Paris.
Yeah. And if the Berlin is that tight, then comes the runouts because you're trying to get away. You're trying to be able to put something on the board, and
you ended up manufacturing.
Yeah. The fact that Cleveland County only scored 33. Remember, last season they were scoring freely in T20, albeit in the first division. But when you have it, we always note that in the Premier Division you only get maybe 2 bad balls over, where in the first division you might get 4 bad balls and over. So you have to be a little more patient, and you have to be a little more creative.
Yeah.
If there's good balls,
that's right.
Turn those good balls into a single.
Yeah, absolutely. And that's where those skills come in with the soft hands and stuff. Yeah. Because I've watched a little bit, and everybody's muscling the ball. Every ball that hit the ball with muscling outside. Yeah, and hit the ball straight to the fielder. When you could be using soft hands and rotate the strike. All that should be still implemented in the T20 game. It's not always just hitting the ball over the top.
That's right. Because eventually, if the field is brought in, the next one through the hill is 2 runs.
That's right. Very easy.
Yeah. And then every once in a while, you're going to get a bad ball that you can hit for 4.
That's right. Absolutely.
But
so where was that game played to before we move on?
Which one?
The St. David's Cleveland game.
At St. David's. That was the second game. That was after the roller was moved.
Okay. All right. Interested.
Yes, anything's possible. Maybe those guys gonna run around the ruler. Who knows?
Oh Lord.
But it's all part of the game, man. It's So I mean, you look at teams such as who is it? You look at let's take a quick look at, if we can, the standings, if they've been updated. So in the first division, Southampton Rangers have played 6, won all 6. PHC have played 7, they've won 3. Western Stars have played 4, won 3. Lost 1. Somerset Bridge have won 2 of their 6. Wilcots have won 1 out of their 3. Warwick and Flat are both winless in their matches thus far. In the Premier Division, St. David's 3-for-3. Somerset 3 wins from 4 matches. St. George's 2-2. St. George's lost to someone already too. Okay. Bayless Bay 1-3. Cleveland County 1-2, and Devonshire Recreation Club have yet to win a match thus far this season. So interesting early. St. David's, who just made the return back to the Premier Division for T20, didn't they?
Yes.
Yeah. Top of the table.
Right.
And so actually St. David's and Somerset made the return.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They're both leaders at this stage.
Yeah. So, it goes to show that if you put in the work and you put in the effort and you put in the time,
that's right.
Things can positive things could happen for you.
Yeah, absolutely. You got to put the work in, commitment.
Yeah. Well, Terry, let's talk about those outstanding performances this weekend, because obviously leading the pack for me would obviously be Jamel Proctor from his performance on Saturday. Guiding Somerset to victory over Bailey's Bay with his 90. What do you got? 93, 90, 92. 92. And then and then today is 70 odd against St. George's, 2 wickets. But also we don't want to overshadow the fact that Charles Trott scored 64 off of 27 balls, and then claimed the 3 wickets for PHC in their victory over Somerset Bridge. Other standout performances from yesterday and today. You had the likes of let me look at yesterday again. Sorry. Kevin Fobler taking 2 for 16, helping St. David's. Marcus Scotland 42 for St. George's in their 8-wicket victory. Mackay Simmons scored 46, not out in their chase. Jonte Smith took 3 for 11 for St. George's. Let's see. Deontay Darrell, before the match was halted, Deontay Darrell had scored 46 for Willacotts in their 170 for 2. And then in the match for Flats and Somerset Bridge and Flats, everybody outstanding in that. Today's outstanding performances, again, we look at Dion Stovall. He scored 56, not out. Dion Stovall scored 62. Jordan De Silva scored 56, not out, both for Southampton Rangers. And then Dion took 3 wickets in the tail end of the inning as well to help Southampton Rangers. So it's kind of a standout between Proctor, Stovall, and Trott. Me personally, I'm leaning towards Proctor because he not only was able to do it with both bat and ball on one day, he returned to do it again on a second day against 2 top clubs.
Absolutely. And that's the point there.
The opposition.
I'm leaning towards John Proctor as well for those very same reasons that you just pointed out. Most definitely. So not taking away the other performances,
right?
From the other individuals, but when you do that 2 days in a row against 2 top teams,
right,
and win the games,
yes,
then I think he deserves that for this week.
Sure. So we want to congratulate Jamel Proctor from Somerset Cricket Club to being the player of the week. So we'll be back next week. Hopefully Doc will be able to get on next week and join us.
Yes.
We should hopefully by then know the squad. I believe it's got to be picked by this week. The national squad for the World Cup qualifiers. We'll see if we can get someone from the board, the coach or somebody to come on and discuss, what the plan is in lead up to that.
Yeah.
So yeah. All right.
Yeah, that'd be good. Thank you.
Yes, sir. Enjoy the rest of your weekend and enjoy the rest of your evening.
Yeah, you too, my man.
We'll be in touch.
All right.
Okay.
All right, bye.
All right.